Hey there, it is time for my second look at the DLC, this time the new units for the Lizardmen. I'll pop up the screen a link to the previous video, which is all about the Empire. If you're new to the channel, I mainly look at the modding side of Total War. I delve deep into the Steam Workshop and look for interesting mods and do detailed videos about them. A link to the playlist I shall put here, and there'll be links at the end of the video. So let's get into Austria and push aside the thick jungle and see what new things lurk there. First up is the new legendary Lord Riky the Wanderer, one of the few remaining of the first spawning of Cockscurls. A legend within the Lizardmen, after being left masterless after the Great Catastrophe, which destroyed his home city of Tatics. He is bound to no city and sweeps until needed. When summoned, the spawns only need his ability to destroy. So this legendary warrior, understandably, is a combat monster. High armour, good melee attack or defence, not as high as other combat lords such as Tyrion, but still very good. The damage is very high though. After quick around the rosters of the various different factions, probably only Korek hits harder than the Wanderer. 380 of this is AP, but there's no bonus to infantry or anti-charge. With a good health pool as well, and he's pretty quick at 50, able to catch most of his foot lords or heroes. Abilities wise, he brings Mismar of Despair, an ability that helps Riky break his foes, dropping the leadership and slowing him down, allowing the killing blow to come down on his target. Primal War reminds me of the green skin Warg, but in close proximity, and is a hell of a buff. 44 melee attack, making Riky at max attack, and anything near him boosting physical resistances as well. This, however, also provokes the rampage mechanic, which is not the best, but seeing such a huge buff, you can see how they would need to counter the use of it. Best used when on the charge, this giving Riky and his units nearby no choice but to attack the thing they are about to approach. It has to be a very good trinket, and Riky you take this with you at all times. Golden Tributes gives everyone near Riky perfect vigour, which is a huge buff in young fights. Lizardmen being pretty much the tankiest of all the factions, with a slight nod to the dwarves, makes this a perfect trinket to run with boosting vigour wherever Riky is. Next, we have the other Lord, the Cockscurl Ancient, a cut down version of Riky, nowhere near the combat monster that he is, but he's just a nice cheap alternative to him. Still high AP and anti-infantry bonus of 25. Other than that, he is similar to the main legendary Lord. Abilities wise, he has a few different ones. The first is the same, which is the Mismar of Despair, which I showed before. Monstrous Strength, boosted damage and adding even more anti-infantry bonus, and anything that boosts a combat Lord like this is never a bad thing. Amulet of Itzy, a great 66% ward save, making him super tanky and a very tough person to kill. It only lasts for 18 seconds and it only has one use, so use it wisely. The Horn of Kyr is similar to Riky's Primal War, but yes powerful, but doesn't do rampage, so it's a bit more controlled. Definitely useful on the charge, boosts that particular stats for that type of abilities. Also brings a nice leadership buff as well, so he can always be used in the late game to run in and give the morale of the low leadership units a quick boost. First of the new units now, the Razordon Hunting Packs at 900 is a strange unit. They are good AP at both ranged and in melee at 24 and 34 respectively. Fast as well, but they don't need to fill any niche, as the Salamanders seem to do just the same job, but only better and only 50 points more than the 900 needed for the Razordon. More on this unit in the tactics section. There is of course a Regiment of Renown version, the Amazon Barbs, at 1200 points. The only interesting thing about this unit is the poison, which of course making kiting the enemy easier. Other than that, just been a Regiment of Renown version of the Salamanders at the same cost. I believe both of these units will get some balance changes at some point by CA. Power gauntlets all around for the Cockscurls. The Sacred Cockscurls at 1250 provide more magic damage and 84 AP, yakking the anti-infantry bonus of the standard Cockscurls, who are only 1000 points. This unit feels a bit more useful and can easily do damage to any unit it hits, given that the melee attack is slightly better than a normal Cockscurls. The magical attacks is a nice thing on this unit, Only a Temple Guard variant of renown has these type of attacks in the Lizardmen roster, making this unit super useful if you want something to get through that physical resistance. This particular unit is a very nice addition to the roster and really feels a niche. The Regiment Renown version of Sacred Coxagores is very costly at 1,700, but does have the great ability Armour Sundering. Definitely a unit to run with against the armour of the Dwarves or Chaos, giving us a much more needed armour decrease. A rare unit, but does not do any extra damages surprisingly, but it is much better in melee and defence. It's more of a niche pick to that extra 450 points. The Ddraig Sorin is kind of a highlight in this DLC in many people's eyes. This monstrous unit, this being the feral version, at 2,300 base cost, and of course there's two other options. At this point, I just want to give a quick shout out to the animators of CA. They keep raising the bar every DLC for Warhammer. Query, they're having a lot of fun making these units come to life. So this little fella, is he any good? Well, maybe, kind of ish. So Query, he's an absolute dodge dealing menace and a huge problem for any armour to deal with. High armour, really quick at 60, which is near elite cav speed, great melee attack and stupid high weapon strength. 530, which is AP, which alone is more damage than most units can push out. One thing I don't get, how in the name of the Great Swans does something this size have only 30 charge? I mean, look at the size of it. I know, it's a bouncing thing, but it kind of doesn't make sense when a single horse model can hit harder than it on the charge. Anyway, it provides fear and terror. Not surprising, but very nice as well. So the big problem is, well, its damn size. It's huge, and you have to be the worst shot in history to miss the damn thing. Which means, strangely, you have to look after it a lot. You need to control the missile units on the opposition's faction. This is the highest priority, and if you can do that, and bring this in, it can be a pretty scary unit to stop. And once you got in, then you got to cope with the anti-charge abilities of the enemy. With your defence, it can go down pretty quick even with that big health pool. Think mobile chariot, think high movement, and make sure you control that missiles. So, the Lizardmen taking this beast somehow, and then somehow strap some weapons to its back, and then, well, no doubt as Swan said, to some skinks, get up there, pop yourself on your back, and you know what, it's completely safe, you'll be fine. All the while, the Ddraig Sorin looks down at some very nervous skinks. Now, you gotta admit, these skinks would do anything for the great plan. So if missiles is any better? Well, yes, but it's nearly 1,000 points more at 3,200 points. All the stats are the same apart from leadership, and it doesn't rampage. It's a lot of points to sink into one unit. The most expensive unit in any army, as far as I can see, is 2,500, which is the Soul Crusher Mammoth of the Norskins. So it's kind of daft how much cash you need to sink into this thing. So if you really don't want any other units in your army, then just get the Shredder, here at 3,800 points. I just cannot see this being used in multiplayer, it's just too many points to sink into one unit. The Lizardmen roster is pretty complete and has tons of options, so why you'd sink so many points into this one unit, I can't justify it. And to be honest, it's hard enough to keep a feral one alive, and this one is 1,500 points extra. He does provide a debuff of -8 around itself, which is cool, I know, but hardly enough to warrant 3,800. The encouragement mechanic, because, well, when you see this thing next to you, I personally think this should be a map-wide buff, because if you got this in your army, you would feel pretty damn confident about the outcome. Well, unless you got some dwarves lining up with a barrage of cannon fire. Stats-wise, he has small boosts to leadership, melee attack and defence, but it's just not enough. Oh yeah, the greatest predator ever has still has a charge of bonus of 30. Yes, I know I mentioned this already, but still, come on. So here we are on some tactics we can use for these units. And I'll be honest, the Lizardmen units on the whole, from this DLC are a bit meh, to be honest. The legendary Horde is cool, and the Horde behind him is awesome, but the actual unit is a bit dull. He's just a combat monster, and that's pretty much it. Same goes for the Ancient, just a combat Horde. Well, they're very good at what they do, and they look awesome, that is all they are. When you compare it to the Empire Lord Marcus, he has much more interest in game mechanics and has a lot more going on with his character. So pretty much one of them in and then smack things. They're very, very good at it. Right, moving on. So here we are with the Razordon, an example of my issue with this new unit. So I'm going to run this up and hit some swordsmen and see what damage we can do. Well, it is slow, but we are doing damage. Not amazing damage, but yeah, it's okay. So, as a unit, it's doing what it's pretty much supposed to do, but not nothing special. Right, so we're going to do exactly the same test, this time with Salamander. And here he is against the same thing, Swordsman. And you can see there's a huge damage difference. And all we're doing is exactly the same thing. Just getting a bit of range, shoot it in and retreating. And due to that extra range and that explosion ability, makes this unit much more effective. And because it's only an extra 50 points and it's got anti-charge, you can see why would you take the Razordon. I really think they need to look at this unit again. Even though the balance in this game for multiplayer must be an absolute nightmare with so many different factions, and they do have my sympathy, I can't see a reason to take this unit currently. So here we have a happy feral Red Saurian bounding in, killing everything, which is great, and he's very, very good at it. But again, some range, he's gonna have a large problem. Well, he's gonna be shot to hell. You can't miss the damn thing. The speed does help though, admittedly. 60 is pretty quick for something this size, and if you run at an angle, it can cause some long-range shots to miss. If you can't get him in there though, just look at this glorious carnage he can do. The other Dread Saurians are similar, but each can shoot as they go, adding some more damage to the mix, being 8 shots per volley. It's pretty good damage output, and great adds to the damage you can do. And if all else fails, you can use the ultimate skirmish carver in the game. But it does look quite sad. Anyway, that's the end of my video. Thanks for watching my coverage of this DLC. The campaigns are interesting, and the Emperor one is especially good. Here are a few links to my mods, which I've covered which is the main focus on my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.